Hi everyone, welcome to Philosophy 2140, Ancient Greek Medicine and Psychology. I wanted to make this video to welcome you to the course, introduce myself, and also orient you a little bit, give you a sense of how the course will run, talk about the syllabus, and so on. So first things first, I'm Professor Wilburn. I'm the chair of the philosophy department, and this is my 15th year teaching. My research focuses on ancient Greek philosophy and also the history of philosophy more broadly, especially the history and philosophy of race. This course is an especially exciting course for me to teach because it's really right in my wheelhouse. So a lot of my published research focuses on ancient theories of psychology, and I'm especially interested in ancient theories of emotion and how ancient authors think about the role that emotion plays in explaining human behavior and in explaining how and why human beings interact with each other in the ways that they do socially and in political context. Relatedly, I'm also interested in ancient views of the relationship between the body and the mind, or between psychology and physiology. So a lot of the topics that we cover this semester are really right up my alley, and it's a lot of fun for me to just sort of get to nerd out in these videos and talk about it with you. So let me give you a little bit more specifics about what we'll be covering. In terms of the time period, this shows some of the main time periods, roughly speaking, in the ancient Greek world. And this semester will be focused on these two, on the what's known as the Archaic period and the Classical period. So these run from about 800 to 750 or so BCE up until around roughly 300 BCE. And in particular, we'll be spending most of our time this semester looking at the Classical period. This was a time in which there was really this kind of explosion of new ideas, new texts that have been preserved. This was the time when Plato, Aristotle, and Socrates all lived. It was the time of Alexander the Great. It was also the time when the physician Hippocrates lived and when the Hippocratic school of medicine became popular. So a lot of the ideas and schools of thought that were born in this period went on to have this especially lasting impact on later Western thought and the history of Western thought as a whole. In terms of the specific figures we'll be covering, we'll start by looking at the epic poets, focusing primarily on Homer and some excerpts from Homer's Iliad and Odyssey. Then we'll look at some of the earliest Greek philosophers, people like Thales, Empedocles, Heraclitus. From there, we'll turn to Hippocrates and the Hippocratic School of Medicine, and we'll actually spend about half of the semester on this school for a couple of reasons. One is that we have a large volume of text, so a lot of Hippocratic texts of medicine have been preserved, and so we have this just enormous amount of information about how Hippocratic doctors thought about the nature of medicine and the human body and disease. And the other reason is that the Hippocratic School of Medicine had this especially enduring impact on the history of Western medicine. So all the way up until through the 1800s, you can still find medical text where doctors will cite Hippocrates as an authority on some medical issue that they're addressing in their work. So for a really, really long time, the Hippocratic School of Medicine was thought of as being one of the authoritative schools for how to think about the nature of disease. From there, we'll turn to the cult of Asclepius. This is one of my favorite units of the semester. The cult of Asclepius takes a different approach to medicine. It focuses on a sort of mystical and religious approach that revolves around the figure or divine figure of Asclepius, and it's really, really interesting stuff. And then we'll finish off the semester by looking at the philosophers Plato and Aristotle. Turning to the syllabus, so all of my information is up here. If you need to reach me, you can email me at this address. You're also welcome to just message me directly through Canvas. If you would like to schedule an appointment with me at any point this semester, I'm very accessible and available. I'm in the office every day, so it's easy to schedule an in-person appointment with me if that's what you prefer. It's also, of course, very easy to schedule via Zoom if that's better for you. In terms of the course materials, everything you need for the course is already on Canvas or will be on Canvas, so you don't need to purchase any books or anything for this course. For the grading for the course, there's going to be 3 main types of assignments. So the first are the weekly assignments. So for the weekly assignments, you'll submit one of these, as suggested by the name, each week. And these will be short assignments in which I provide some questions and prompts related to that week's reading. And what those prompts are going to do is ask you to engage with the reading and sort of try to the best of your ability to understand what's going on in the reading, and also to give some of your personal reactions and reactions to it and interpretations of the reading. So because of that, these are going to be graded primarily on the evidence that you tried to engage with the reading rather than on accuracy. So if you feel like the material is difficult to understand, which it definitely sometimes can be, don't stress about that. Don't stress about getting things exactly right. Just try your best to understand the reading and answer the questions, and that's all the assignments are asking of you. Some tips for doing the assignment are the following. So first, I suggest reading the posted assignment before you actually do the reading for the week, for 2 reasons. One is that I usually post some notes on the reading, which will give you a kind of overview of what you'll be reading that week. It'll give you some relevant context to who you'll be reading, what they're talking about in the text. So it could be useful for just understanding the text. And secondly, of course, if you read the assignment first, you'll know sort of what kinds of things to be looking for as you read. Secondly, present your personal perspective and interpretation. So again, don't worry about being right. I want to hear what you think about these readings and see how you try to puzzle out sort of what's going on in them. I'm not looking for a book report on ancient Greek views. I really want to hear your own thoughts. The third thing is be specific. And this is, I think, the most important of the tips. So the questions that I ask are very specific to the readings that I've put together. And so what you should be doing in your answers is including specific references to the reading in your answers. I want to hear not only what your reaction is or why you or what you think about the reading or what you think the answers to the prompts are, but I want you to show me or explain sort of how you got there from the readings. So use specific examples from the text, maybe quote specific passages that led you to your answer. Just kind of explain how you got from the reading to whatever the answer is that you're proposing for the assignment. And yeah, just give lots of the sort of details and specifics from the actual reading. Fourth, don't consult outside sources or use AI software. So again, the assignments are asking for your personal interpretation. So obviously that's not something that the internet can provide for you. The other thing is that the internet contains more bad information than good when it comes to our course material. AI is especially terrible and unreliable about the topics that we're looking at. It often hallucinates information that just isn't true or just kind of comes out of nowhere, or it'll talk about the wrong figures. So I would not use AI to find out information about our course material, and definitely don't use it to generate the content of your assignments themselves, which would then constitute academic misconduct. Okay, so that's the assignments. The second main type of assignment for the course is the case study. I'll distribute more information about this toward the end of the semester as it gets closer to being due. But just to give you a little preview, one of the really cool things about the Hippocratic text that we have preserved is that we have these long texts that consist of basically ancient Hippocratic doctors' daily notes. They're sort of logs on their patients day to day. And so it's sort of like sort of like what we would think of as like the patient's chart nowadays. So we have these accounts of a physician sort of talking about a patient and going day by day, like what their symptoms are, what they're observing. And so it really gives us this fascinating insight into the mind of actual ancient Greek doctors and the sorts of things that they thought were significant and paid attention to and how they thought about their patients. And so in the case study assignment, you'll be looking at some of these specific patient case studies and sort of doing an analysis of them. And then finally, there will be 2 non-cumulative exams that will consist of multiple choice and true-false questions. Before I talk about the tips for preparing for the exams, I'm actually going to jump ahead a little bit and just talk about what the rhythm of the course will be like. So in a typical week, you'll have an assignment that's due on the Tuesday of that week. So you're supposed to do the reading, obviously, before you do the assignment. The assignment will be due on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday of that week, so the day after you submit the assignment, there will be a few things that are unlocked on the Canvas modules. So first, I'll post a PowerPoint on that week's unit. And secondly, I'll post a lecture video accompanying the PowerPoint. So the lecture video will essentially have the same kind of format as this. So I'll be a little like box in the corner, and I'll just kind of give you a guided tour of the PowerPoint. I often skip over like some of the material. I don't necessarily go through every single bullet point on the PowerPoints, but I do just want to give you enough information so that you can sort of understand and sort of I want to explain what the material is, what I'm trying to convey about it. I try to strike a balance between not overloading you with super long lecture videos, but I also want to make sure that I'm getting information across. So the first couple of weeks, the videos are the longest that they'll be all semester. That's partly just because I really want to make sure that I'm erring on the side of giving you all the information and making sure give you a sense of how I present information. After that, though, the videos will average like 25 to 30 minutes or so per week. And then also on the Wednesday of each week, there will be a Q&A discussion board that opens up. So you'll have from the time that opens Wednesday until the Sunday of that week to post a discussion, any questions that you have based on the lecture video and the PowerPoint for that week. And then the next week, it'll repeat for the next unit. And most weeks will kind of have that rhythm. Exam weeks will work a little bit differently. On the exam weeks, I'll post the exam, and then you'll have a couple days to take the exam. It'll be a timed exam, and once you start the exam, you'll have 90 minutes to complete it. And then the second half of the course will look pretty similar. And then the semester ends with you submitting the case study one week, and then the second exam the final week of the course. Okay, so in terms of preparing for the exams, there's a few things that you should be doing. So first of all, familiarize yourself with the PowerPoints and make sure you understand them. So those are going to be your main resource when studying for the exam. The other thing is you want to make sure, this is very important, to watch the lecture video each week and take notes on any information I provide in the videos that's not on the PowerPoint itself. So sometimes I will, talk through bullet points on the PowerPoint, but sometimes I'll also sort of have an aside where I provide some additional context or information that's going to be relevant to the course material. And some of that extra stuff that I say can then appear on the exam. So I would suggest watching these in a place where you're able to take notes. And then when you see me sort of saying something that's like going off script from the PowerPoint, make sure to jot that down so that you have that. And then finally, so when you post questions on the discussion boards, I will then go in. So again, you have until Sunday of each week to post the discussion questions. And then on like Monday of that week, I will go in and provide answers to the questions you ask about the course material. And then some exam questions will come directly from some of the information I provide in those answers. So you want to make sure you familiarize yourself with the Q&A discussions. There will also be a bonus point or extra credit opportunity for the course. So this is through the Q&A discussion board. So you're not required to post questions on the discussion boards. These are a resource for you to, any lingering questions you have after watching the lecture videos, you're welcome to post it there. You can also just email me directly, but you can post it on the discussion board. And if you post a question on the discussion board for 1 week, you get one extra credit point, which is equivalent to 1% added to your final course grade. You can earn up to 2 extra credit points each semester, or 2% increase to your final course grade by posting questions on the Q&As in 2 separate weeks of the term. So the 2% ends up making the difference for a decent chunk of students at the end of the semester. It's often the difference between like an A- and an A, for example. So it's a really easy way to just like get a few extra bonus points, and then gives me a chance to engage directly with some of your questions. Okay, so the final thing is I just wanted to show you sort of what the Canvas site looks like. So this is the student view of the Canvas site. As you can see, so this is our first week. The syllabus is there. I'm going to post the lecture video there after I record this. And then all of the reading assignments for the entire semester are already available for you on Canvas. Also, all of the assignments for the semester, except for the final case study assignment, are also available to you. So you're able to work ahead in this course. You can work ahead a few weeks if that's going to be more convenient for you. You can kind of do things at your own pace in that way if you want to work ahead. The PowerPoint and the Q&As are going to be locked until, again, the Wednesday after you submit the assignments. And then you can't see it here, but in student view, but there will also be a lecture video in each module that I have to go in and manually unlock. So each week it's going to be pretty straightforward. You do the reading, you do the assignment. After you submit the assignment, I unlock the PowerPoint and lecture video for you to watch and look over. And then if you have any questions, you go to the discussion board Q&A. And then we just kind of repeat that each week. So I think that's all the main information I wanted to go over today. Hopefully that gives you a sense of what to expect this semester. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And yeah, I am just really looking forward to this semester, and I'm looking forward to getting to know each of you through your submitted assignments. And yeah, I look forward to a great semester.